Hello everyone out there on YouTube. So today I would like to make a short video and just express some of my thoughts on how I feel on the narcissist situation. And today, so I've had a lot of thoughts reoccurring in my mind, and I've been thinking that, some people, they just don't get it. They just don't understand. They're asleep. They're not awake. And what I mean by this is that some people, no matter how hard you try to explain to them about the abuse of narcissism and what you've been through, and you can show them all the facts and all the evidence, and the evidence can be staring them blankly in the face, and it can be really obvious, but for some reason there's just some people who they're overly optimistic and they're overly positive, and though they are always looking for a solution to the problem, which is good, but the issue is that really there's no solving the problem with a narcissist, is because you can't win with a narcissist. And so that's what I've had on my mind today. And I've had this experience over and over again working a job for a narcissistic boss, and you're optimistic at first, you're naive, and because you have coworkers and you have higher ups that come to you and out of concern, and they say, oh, you can come to me anytime you want to, and we can discuss this issue, and I'll be there for you if you have anything you want to talk about. And this is exactly what people have told me, and so I took that to heart, and I really thought that these people would be there for me. But as time went on, they would fall for the narcissist smear campaign. The narcissist would go behind their back and say, oh, well, he did this and he did that. And slowly over time, they would believe their side of the story. Now, I don't really understand, I guess, the mentality of people always believing the side of the person who is in the authority. I mean, just because you're in authority doesn't mean that you're always right. And so this is what I find to happen. I mean, I understand people who are in authority are supposed to be moralistic and they're supposed to be right, but they're not. And so this is the issue that I found with having a narcissistic boss, is that higher ups and other people, or HR, when the narcissist goes to them, they're just, they don't really question what they say, and they just say, oh, okay, so these things must be true about this employee, all these things that you're saying. Now, obviously, I'm sure there are plenty of times when, maybe there is an issue employee, there is a problem employee, and then they go to complain, and, maybe there's been several complaints. And so, obviously, that's the case when the employee is the issue. But the truth of the matter is that the narcissist, they go about creating their smear campaign, and I've seen so many people fall for it. I've seen, coworkers and employees and people who aren't necessarily supervisors, but people who are above you in the rankings, and nobody really ever questions the validity of their statements. Nobody really seems to pick up on the fact that this person obviously is just liking to gossip and cause trouble. Nobody really seems to pick up on that fact. And I think that's really the issue in our world today, is that there's not enough people who are aware of narcissism. They're just not, and they just don't understand. And I've gotten to the point where I don't even really care to I no longer care to explain to people. I no longer care to try to convince people about narcissism because they just don't get it. It's just like another language to them. They just can't comprehend. You know, even if you're really angry, which, I mean, obviously that just makes you look crazy, because that's just, I guess, that's just kind of, unfortunately, the laws of human interaction. It makes you look crazy when you're all, you know, vehement, and you're angry, and you're trying to explain the things the narcissist did, and the narcissist is the common one, even though you have every right to be angry. And your anger is righteous. You're in the right, but you end up looking crazy anyways. So what's the point? You know, why waste your time with these people who are asleep? They're just asleep. You know, I mean, they're not all, you know, not everybody's a narcissist, but the narcissist has created a veil of lies and sort of shrouded it over the eyes of everybody who is just not aware of these people. And so that's just the message I want to get out today about, you know, narcissism and these people. And it's just a waste of time to try and convince people. I mean, unless the person is somebody who has been through narcissistic abuse themselves, or they just understand narcissistic abuse because, you know, maybe they were married to somebody, or they were raised by a narcissist, and they understand it, and, you know, they can listen to you, and they're a good friend, then I would say, yeah, you know, go to them and talk to them about it. But, you know, in most cases, most people just are completely unaware. They just don't understand. So, you know, if you're in a situation where you're trying to over-explain yourself, I think it's just best that you leave that situation, you leave that toxic job, you leave that relationship, because it's not even worth trying to over-explain yourself. Anyways, if you watched this video, thank you for watching, and hope you have a nice day.